Com 4 horas de cenas incríveis, a Liga da Justiça de Zack Snyder marcou a todos que assistiram. Como uma marca do seu trabalho, o Zack gosta de focar nas relações humanas e emocionais dos seus personagens, sendo eles principais ou secundários. E uma dessas relações que marcou bastante é a da garçonete que foi ajudada pelo Ciborgue, interpretada pela Amanda Mod. E é com ela que nós vamos falar hoje no SnyderCutBR. Senta o dedo no like, Snydete, e roda a vinheta. Hello! Hi! I've seen that you were a Liverpool supporter, so as I am one too.
Woo! You never walk alone, baby.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome.
So yeah, I decided to wear my jersey.
It's a great time to be a supporter.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, very exciting.
So yeah, thank you so much for doing this interview.
No problem. No problem at all. I'm just like hanging out in my bedroom, so I'm fine.
Oh, that's okay. As I'm not as English is not my first language, it's Portuguese. So if I say anything that you don't understand, please just talk to me and I will try to rephrase it somehow,
No.
Okay. Thank you for being here in name of the SnyderCutBR. It's the biggest Zack Snyder portal in the world, as I know. Yeah. Let's begin the interview. Can I start the questions?
Sure.
Oh yeah. And how are you? How are you doing?
I'm okay. It's yeah, it's a bank holiday here.
Oh yeah.
So we have tomorrow off as well.
Oh, that's good. Here it is the Workers' Day today.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have tomorrow. It's just today. Let's start it. So I've known your work. I've met your work through the Snyder Cut, but I've known you throughout the Twitter with your tweet asking if you were indeed at the movie. So how was it? How did you find out that you were in the movie?
On that day when I tweeted, within a minute, people started answering, and so I found out right away, but then it turned into something else. Just more and more people were answering and liking and following, and it just turned into a really huge thing that I still can't believe happened. It was just so amazing.
Oh, that's great.
So I found out on that day, like within a minute of tweeting.
And then how was it? How was the feeling of getting viral?
Well, it was very strange. I mean, at one point, Twitter closed my account because there was so much activity on it, and that was unusual. I've made a lot of Twitter friends through it, and as an actor, you don't get a lot of validation. You don't necessarily hear what people think about what you've done, and so it was really, really special to be able to receive all the support and love and messages, and it felt really, really special.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and how was the feeling of being in the screen on such an important movie as Zack Snyder Justice League is? Well, I believe that being on the Justice League was in first place was great, but with all the fans wanting it kind of get bigger somehow.
Yeah, I think it did. I mean, in a way, I mean, not that I want would have wanted things to turn out the way they did because of Zack's daughter and the Joss Whedon cut and it being what it was. It actually, the Snyder Cut movement meant that Zack Snyder's vision could be fully realized. That, everything that he wanted to say, he got to say almost. And it is epic. It's a tremendous achievement, and to actually be part of it is kind of mind-blowing. I knew it was big when I did it, but it became bigger because it was about a cause and about justice, really, justice for Justice League, and lots of things like the message about people of color and women, and the message of parents and children and fathers and sons. There's so much in it that was lost, that I'm just so glad, not just for myself, but I'm so glad for everyone that it came out as it did.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about it later, but what do you feel, what do you think about the organic movement created by the fans to the release of the Snyder Cut, because we are already talking about it?
I just think it's amazing, and it's using social media as a power for good. There's so much negativity on social media, and it's so easy for people to be nasty and obnoxious and do it anonymously. So to use it in a way that is unifying and that can actually have tangible results is, hopefully that's the way forward, that, social media will be a way for people to connect as opposed to, divide.
How was it to be on set? How was the casting? How was the process of being on it?
Well, the casting, you just go in. These days you just do it. You do self-tapes or on Zoom. But at that point, I just went in. I was with one of the casting director's assistants. We recorded the scene and talked about who I was, and we laughed, and it was fun. And then I didn't hear anything for a long time, and I usually just forget about it. And then suddenly my agent said, "Are you available for a costume fitting on this day?" And
oh yeah, of course.
oh, okay. So it felt like a little bit of a surprise, like, oh, that's great. Oh, that's amazing. And I didn't realize, I thought it was one scene. I thought it was the ATM, the cash machine scene.
Yeah.
But when I went to the costume fitting, they showed me the waitress costume, and which, was great. And then they showed me a whole rack of clothes saying, "These are your other costumes." And that's when I realized it was more than one scene.
Whoa, imagine that.
They showed me, like, I had ID, I had a bus pass. I found out at the costume fitting, they said, "Oh no, you have a lot of shots, you have a lot of scenes." So that was, great, exciting. And then I got to the set and I met the kids who were going to be my children, and I was like, "Oh my God, I have children."
There's the whole story behind it.
It was, Clay Staub, who was the Splinter unit director, he was so wonderful and supportive, and really coaxed the performance out of me, made me feel so comfortable, because I'd never done anything as big as that. And I went into the sound stage, and there were all these little sets that were my sets, you know, my apartment, the grocery store. It was really, really strange. And yeah, so it was, I just had to focus a lot because otherwise I could have been really overwhelmed and panicking. And on the night of the big scene with Ray Fisher and Zack and the rain and
Oh,
the
Zack.
you know, it was huge. My heart started pounding so hard. I was afraid that it was going to be heard by the microphone. I just had to think, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up. Um, it was unreal. It was unlike anything else I'd ever imagined doing. I couldn't even imagine it being. I couldn't think of how wonderful the crew and Clay, the Splinter Unit director, and Zack Snyder was really friendly, and everyone was just trying to tell this story.
Yeah,
They're all
yeah.
working together, just wanting to tell this story the best way that it could be told.
And it is indeed what we've watched is the best way.
Um, so yeah, the set experience was, you know, I had a dressing room. I didn't know I had a trailer until I got there.
Oh, you had a trailer.
It said waitress on it, and so you know, I'm in the trailer, and they said, "Do you want a coffee?" I'm like, "Oh, okay." It was so strange. I mean, some people have said it's a little bit like what my character went through. That, you know, I'm just an average Joe, kind of regular person in life, and then suddenly I do this movie, and people are tweeting to me and saying, "Oh, we love you, la la la." So it was the whole experience from the shooting to now has just been one of the best things in my life.
You've mentioned about Zack. How was it to work with him?
Well, so I worked with him on the big set. We didn't have a lot of interaction because he, you know, he had to watch everything. But I met him. I I embarrassed myself when I met him. I said, "Hi, Jack, I'm from Minnesota," and because I had read he was born in Wisconsin, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
Minnesota in the United States. He just looked really confused, and he said, "Is that a character choice?" Or I'm like, "Oh no, never mind." But after we'd done a couple of takes, he invited me to come and look at the playback, and which was really nice of him. And so I was watching myself on the screen. It was very strange. And then this subtitle came on that said "Property of Warner Brothers," and I said, "Oh wow, look, I'm property of Warner Brothers." And Zack Snyder said something like, "Aren't we all? We're all property of Warner Brothers."
Oh, yeah.
So I, you know, I got to exchange a little joke with him, and you know, he would relay messages through people saying, "That's fine, keep doing what you're doing." So it wasn't a lot of interaction, but the interaction I had was memorable.
He looks like a memorable guy.
And he couldn't stay for the end of the shoot because he had to go and call his wife. So no, I was just, he seems like such a, you know, regular guy, like Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, but I think they both get the same vibe, like some friendly vibe.
Yeah. It's
Right.
unassuming and humble, and
Yeah. So
sorry, I'm watching the movie now. I'm like, oh
yeah.
yeah,
I put it to create some scenario. So.
Comes out in theaters. I would love to see it in a big theater.
Oh, me too. Me too. I would
Really
love to. Oh, that's a shame that we couldn't get it.
well, who knows with the merger, and who knows what will happen. So
Yeah.
there's a lot
Oh,
of like hints being dropped by various people, and
yes. I was going to ask you about it. How are you feeling about this merge?
well, I mean, all signs seem good so far. I mean, the Discovery and just they seem to be promoting Zack's work
Yeah, I've
and
seen it.
you know, kind of remedying what happened before. Just um, I don't know what could happen, but it's very exciting.
That is.
And there, you know, some people are gone already, and that's you know, I don't have anything. I don't know that much of the history, so I don't hate certain people, but I do know that certain people did certain things which made it difficult for Zack's vision to be realized.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
they are gone. Some of them are gone now. So I don't know. I mean, signs, things are looking good. They're looking positive. I don't know what's going to happen, but you know, fingers crossed. It could be restore the Snyderverse. It could be that, you know, there's a Batfleck movie. It could be that, you know, there's Justice League
Oh,
2
we
and 3.
hope
I
so
mean,
much.
it would just be amazing, and that Zack Snyder could continue doing his other movies as well, because you know I can't believe how much he produces.
Yeah. It's like a movie maniac.
um, it's so there's so much depth in the film, uh, especially when you think of what the theatrical release was like.
Yeah,
Um, that it's so moving. The whole story of the film, the whole story in the film, and the whole story of how the Snyder Cut came to be, um, and the you know the suicide prevention fundraising, and I'll just it's a global phenomena, as he said.
2017 movie, The Theatrical Cut, and when it was released, it got cut in half and added some other shoots and etc. But your part got cut too, either. So, how was it to you? How you realized that you've been cut?
Well, the casting director was really great in that she sent a letter to people that had been cut. And she let us know that a lot of people had been cut, that it wasn't
Well,
just my
yeah,
part, it was my friend's part. And you know, that was really kind of her, because sometimes people will go to screenings expecting to see themselves and they're not in it. Or
yeah,
they watch the episode of the show they think they're going to be in and they're not in it, or it's just their face for 1 second. So I was grateful to her that she sent that letter. And I still wanted to go to the screening because I love Wonder Woman and I love superheroes. And so I went to the screening and I did enjoy it to a certain extent. There was a point when I thought, and
happening there.
it's not the actor's fault. I'm not blaming the actors at all.
Yeah, not at all.
Russian family, I was like, when there was so much with that Russian family, like it was so long, I thought,
Yeah,
seriously, they couldn't just have a minute.
yeah,
Um,
it was kind of weird.
yeah, and there's lots of stuff that I wouldn't have known was changed until the Snyder Cut came out, and I became more kind of outraged, um, more shocked at what was put in and what was cut out
Yeah,
after I found out. you know, a friend of mine, she had a small role. She played a police officer, but she was cut out. But she also happens to be a person of color, and
Hmm. Yeah,
I
it kind of
even know,
makes us wonder why it was
no,
cut.
and look, Ryan, what's his name? The Atom, the guy that plays that will become the Atom, the scientist. You
Yeah,
know, he's
yeah.
out, and Victor's father and Victor's mother,
The
and
whole Victor's story was cut.
yeah,
Why?
also Barry and Iris. I mean, wow, what a beautiful, sweet, funny scene. That
Yeah,
whole section was so exciting and engaging, and just set up the Flash's whole character, how smart he is, how caring he is, but also, you know, he's a guy. He's just a regular guy that has these powers. Um,
yeah, and his scenes, they're amazing. How could they look at it and just, oh no, cut this. I didn't understand this. Just cut, please. How? How?
oh my, yeah, the speed of force scene, the one that
Yeah, yeah.
like so mind blowing and so transporting. And to just say, "Oh, I don't get it," audiences won't get it and cut it out. Um, I suppose there's a part of me that can understand if they think they're going to lose money, that they just make decisions right and left without really understanding what they're doing. But
Yeah.
they knew who they were hiring. They hired Zack Snyder.
So please let the man work.
It's just you know, if they wanted if they wanted it fast and funny and furious, then you hire that director. You know,
Yeah, another one.
and
Yes.
there is a place for that. You know, there is a place for that kind of comic book movie. I just I think there's room for a whole universe of comic book movies.
Yeah, like the
Um,
other one.
it's just like, you know, I grew up on Christopher Reeve's Superman and Linda Carter's Wonder Woman, and it's completely different, but it, you know, it's there's room for everything, and
Yeah.
people change as they grow up and they have different needs, and anyway, although I still love Linda Carter and I still love Christopher Reeve.
Oh yeah,
So
I love them too. I love them too. Don't get me wrong. I love Linda Carter. She's amazing. Uh, but it's different, you know. With Zack Snyder, we got something so much deeper, and the all other stories, you know, like they are real somehow, you know.
I get, it's almost like like the difference between a comic and a graphic novel. That
Yeah, yeah,
is,
yeah. That is.
a graphic novel can have so many layers, and then a comic book you'll get a little bit of a story or a little bit of a taste of something, but with a graphic novel you can really dig deep into it.
In the I've watched another interviews of you at the YouTube. I think they were released with the movie like 1 year ago.
Yeah.
So you haven't watched the movie and etc. So um,
Yeah, yes, at that point.
so what do you think about the movie? How was your impression when you first watched it? Like,
So it took me about 5 days to get it was Now TV in the UK, to sign up for Now TV and get and set aside a time, because I wanted to set aside, I didn't want to just casually watch it. I wanted to set aside a time to watch. And I thought I was going to watch like one, you know, one half and then the next half. But I just kept watching, kept watching and watching and watching. And, by the time I finished, it was like 2 a.m, but it was, I couldn't stop watching. Within the first 10 minutes, it was like, this is an entirely different movie, and there's so much happening. And oh my God, the Amazons were so amazing. So, it's epic. It's epic. And it brings in so many levels of myth and belief and human relationships with the universe and with each other, blah, 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 blah. But I loved it. I've only watched it twice, but because I only got 1 month free. And I can't really afford streaming services at the moment, so that's why I hope it comes out in the theaters. I've only watched it twice, but I hope to see it many more times. It's an incredible film. It does. I do need to set aside time to do it because it isn't a casual watch.
Yeah.
And I also have to, choose the people that I watch it with. Like, some people won't be able to
get it.
Or will be confused, or will just be bored, or it's not for everyone. So,
yeah, it is.
Yeah. I either just watch it with myself or with people that I know are going to enjoy it. But I think it's an amazing achievement, and all across the board, the cinematography, the costumes, the set design, everything, the fights, the CGI, everything is just unbelievably good. You look a tiny bit like Gail Gadot.
Do I look really? Oh my God.
I see her on the screen, and then I'm like, no, you have similar face.
Oh, thank you. I really don't think it, but thank you. She's just amazing. She's really a goddess. About your scene, it was such an important scene. This represents tons of single mothers all over the world. How was it to play that part?
Well, I identified a lot with the part. I waited on tables for many, many, many years. I may have to wait on tables again. I don't know. It's a struggle being an actor, trying to pay bills, and even now it's difficult. I had a lot of empathy for the character, and the character trying to. I do a lot of childcare. I look after children. That's one of my day jobs, and so working with the children and making sure they were okay, and making sure they were okay as the character, but also as an actor, because they're kids on set, and it's huge, and they don't really know. They do the thing, and they have to do it.
It must be some scary, huh?
Yeah, and it's just confusing. Like, they do it once, and then they have to do it again and again, and so, like, I brought some toys and some books for them on the second day, just to try and, because the little boy,
that's cool.
he was less than 3 years old. He was so little, and he just wanted his dad so much. And I just, so I really felt for him, and the little girl as well, because she was like, I can't believe I have to do this again. She would do it really well, and then something like a light would be wrong or something, and they'd ask her to do it again, and she just didn't understand.
Oh, poor she.
But I think, again, the timing of when the Snyder Cut came out during the pandemic, I think it said so much to people, because so many people, well, they're still struggling financially, and
Yeah.
there's huge issues of people losing their homes because they couldn't pay their rent in the pandemic. And I also came to realize that being Asian, my mom was Chinese American, so I'm half Asian, that it said a lot to a lot of people, especially during the Stop Asian Hate, where there was the rise in violence against Asian people during the pandemic. That was something I didn't expect, and I feel I'm quite.
Tá de sacanagem. Hi, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I'm so sorry that the energy just went out. I'll get back.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Oh no, it kind of happens here from time to
Really?
time. Yeah, but I was kind of wishing that it doesn't happen today, but okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The day that the Snyder Cut came out, there was a YouTube video of a couple of guys, and one guy was saying how much our scene spoke to him because his mom was Asian, and to be able to see an Asian character struggling, which you don't really see that much. You see them like as a very rich tech, very smart in math and all sorts of things like that, very successful. So to see an Asian character as just a regular person, I didn't even think of that until the reaction. And the young man in the YouTube actually got choked up because he said it reminded him of his mom.
Oh,
And a lot of people have said that it means a lot to them, having been raised by a single mom or having struggled. You don't get that kind of feedback usually as an actor. Realize that you've made that kind of impression, that people have connected to it so strongly. It is because I know I connected to it because I've been through that kind of thing. I'm not a single mom, but I've definitely struggled. That yeah, that's part of what made it so incredibly special. That it was not just speaking for single moms and people struggling, but also representing Asians at a time during the pandemic when there was a lot of violence towards Asians. That was an unexpected bonus. that there is such a struggle. There's a struggle with being an Asian actor in England, an Asian American actor in England, or being an Asian in general. That the fact that this scene was representative without even kind of pushing it, it was very natural.
yeah.
It was a natural byproduct that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
And I feel grateful to have been able to do that.
So we're talking about the Asian representativity, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Snyder Cut. And I was wanting to talk to you about the female representativity because that's like my favorite subject. It's so amazing. I love it. The characters are just so well written, like they're so real. So
yeah. I mean, you've got Diana Prince, of course, but then you also have Lois Lane and you have Martha, and well, you've got Mira. I know that's a it's a,
Oh yeah.
kind of a touchy subject right now, but you know, she is a powerful character,
She really is.
and there's loads of little characters that are just that have been cast as women, which is such an easy thing to do, but a lot of people just don't do it. Do you know the actress Gina Davis?
Who? I'm
Gina
sorry.
Davis? Gina
I,
Davis was in The Fly and Thelma and Louise and Accidental Tourist. But
I'm really bad with names. I'm so
that's okay.
sorry. Yeah.
She wrote,
Yeah, I know her.
yes,
Thank you.
she wrote, you know, just a sentence about a guide on how to cast more women, and it's just like if it says doctor, just you know, instead of he, put she, and then cast a woman. That it's so
It's
easily
so
done.
easy.
Yeah. And I was so disappointed in relation to Joss Whedon because after finding out the things that he put back in, like the butt shot of Diana and the weird Flash falling on top of her thing, and
Yeah.
especially because I really loved Buffy. I thought Buffy was so great, uh, um, and just such a powerful female character, and more than one powerful female character in there. It was very disappointing that it was so obvious that they were targeting this film towards teenage boys,
Yeah.
and it was very depressing. So when, you know, to see the whole thing and to see how different it was, the Amazons, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
they have no fear.
Just goosebumps all over
Just,
every time.
and they sacrificed themselves and sank into the ocean. It was just, oh my gosh, just wow. That's so powerful. And again, I don't feel like it's pushing it into anyone's face. It's just telling the story, and the story is one of these women doing these things. It's kind of like in I'm gonna get boring, but in history, like in
Oh,
history, there's so many women that have done amazing things, but they're just not talked about. They just their story isn't told. So it is you know, it's great to be able to see even though it's a fantasy situation, women's stories being told. Look, there's
yeah,
lots.
that's so powerful to watch it. That doesn't mean if it's fantasy or not. It's
Yeah, yeah,
just it's good to be told. Yeah.
yeah. To see yourself represented up there as something other than what we've seen before. So no, the female representation is amazing. Just wow. The Amazons are just incredible.
Yeah, they are. Oh, I love it. And there is another particular moment that I love when Victor's mother just got asked by the principal, and he was like, "Oh, Mrs. Stone," and she go like, "Dr. Stone." That is
Yeah.
so powerful. That's amazing.
And well, and also for an African American woman,
Yeah.
uh, uh, there are these stereotypes of African Americans, stereotypes of Asian Americans, and actually in our scene, the roles were reversed. That you know, African Americans who are seen as powerless and poor and useless, that saving an Asian American person, but Karen Bryson's character, she just said what she had to say. She was defending her son. She pointed out that her son was, he was a genius. He wasn't just a football player. He
Yeah.
wasn't just an athlete.
Yeah.
He
And
was,
he was a good man too.
yeah, he was helping someone, and
Yeah.
that she was kind of standing up to the system, but she was also not part of the system, but she was a professional, and she was a respected woman, but she still was saying what she thought was right and stood up for her son. So yeah, yes, I think her character is awesome. Oh, sorry, I just thought about the car accident. Oh,
Oh yeah, that's so sad. It got me. It got me every time.
yeah. All right, just getting your wine. Okay.
So about you, what are you doing nowadays? What's your project?
Um, well, I actually am going to do my first convention. I'm going
Oh,
to Halifax Comic Con. I think someone dropped out, so I think I'm replacing them. But yeah, it's my first convention. I have a convention agent now. During the pandemic, not much was happening. But I just finished a cast recording of a musical. It
oh,
was it was supposed to be broadcast, but it ended up having to be canceled because one of the technicians got COVID, and so we did a cast album. We're just waiting for that to come out. So when that comes out, I'll put it on all my social media, and
yeah, please, we want to see it.
I did a lot during the pandemic. Strangely, I did a lot of like digital readings, and like I did a little tiny short film with a friend, another short film. Well, you can't
That's
see me.
amazing.
Yeah, a lot happened. It reminded me a little bit of when I was an actor in New York, because I did a lot of work in New York, but I didn't actually make a lot of money. So the pandemic felt like that. I
Oh
only
my
had
god.
lots of things happening, but I would just get a little stipend or something. But it was amazing to be doing things when nothing was happening. And the whole concept of digital theater is really interesting, of theater that is designed to stream, not just putting a camera in a theater,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's where it's blocked, it's designed with special effects and in a specific environment. That's a really interesting, or
Oh,
having the CGI backdrops, things like that. It's a really interesting thing that came out of the pandemic.
that
That
sounds amazing.
yeah.
Where can we watch this? It's
Well, I mean, it's something that's developing now. I mean, a lot of digital play readings, they use CGI backgrounds, but there is kind of a movement of wanting to have live actors performing on streaming platforms, but have it be slick. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to like if we were on Zoom doing a play, it might
yeah,
be a little
yeah.
bit. It might be a little bit wonky, a little bit rough. But to have it designed so that it's as smooth as possible, but still live. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it kind of makes. But it really sounds amazing. I would like to watch that.
So hopefully there'll be a lot more of it. The readings I did during the pandemic, I think you can find things on YouTube. I think if you go to my Facebook page, my actors fake Facebook page, you can scroll through and there's links and things to stuff. So,
Okay.
but I don't, yeah, so just the convention at the moment, and I may be doing something in the autumn in September, but you know, who knows? Something might come up.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
just waiting for the phone call to do Rebel Moon, but
Oh yeah, come on, Zack.
heard anything.
It's delaying. Please, come on. uh, so
No, I mean, I've always wanted to be in Star Wars, and that would be the closest thing at this point.
yeah, come
And
on. It would be amazing. Please.
all of the Star Wars movies.
That's Kylo Ren thing. The sword. How is it in English? I forgot the name.
Lightsaber.
Yeah, the lightsaber. The Kylo Ren lightsaber.
Wow, so cool.
Up to now, what was your favorite project?
That's really tough. I don't know. I mean, I've done some Shakespeare, and there's like my favorite Shakespeare role is Emilia in Othello. I'm in a band. I love playing with the band.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about the band. Wondermere, right?
It's correct. So making that album was amazing, and we're working on a second one. And obviously the movie is, you know, it's going to be pretty hard to top that. I ran a small theater company with some friends in Brooklyn, and yeah, and we presented a production in an abandoned warehouse on the Brooklyn waterfront of Les Liaisons Dangereuses. So we were all in 18th century costume in this dirty abandoned warehouse, and we plugged into the street lamps to get electricity, and people had to be escorted from the main road into this wasteland. That is my favorite project I've ever done. That was a long time ago.
That's a good story.
Wow, the fire department came and checked it out, and then they left. They saw what we were doing. They're like, have a good show. They just left. No, that's my, I think that is, thank you for asking, because I haven't really solidified that in my head until now. That is probably the thing I'm most proud of. It was very difficult, but I think that is my favorite project. Thank you for asking.
Oh. Thank you for sharing. Of all the characters you've done, what was the most amusing and challenging, the one that it got your heart?
Oh gee. I did a play that was, the part was kind of written for me, where it was a middle-aged Chinese American woman living in London trying to save London's Chinatown. And the woman, you know, this woman, because she was American, she felt out of place. She was half Chinese like me, so she didn't feel quite American enough, and she didn't feel quite Chinese enough. I really enjoyed that character. It was exhausting. It was a lot to do, and the character was very fierce and energetic and kind of hyper. So it was very exhausting by the end of the night. But yeah, I guess that would be my favorite. These are really interesting. Well, I've never thought about this before. I guess that's my favorite character.
Well, I've warned you that we want to know you, so.
I mean, and also because she was kind of written with me in mind, and it's like, that doesn't happen very often as an actress.
O que você quer falar, meu amor?
Ask about your favorite member of Justice League.
Eu vou perguntar, trust me, please. I'm sorry, he's just like,
oh, don't
to sign me something. Yeah, he wants to know what's your favorite member of the Justice League.
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
So I wrote a letter to NBC or ABC. I wrote a letter to the network in the 1970s when I was a kid. They were going to cancel Wonder Woman. And I wrote a letter to the network saying, please don't do it. It's great. It's so much better than the Bionic Woman. And then it came back. So I don't know if that was me. So I have
loved definitely you.
I've loved Wonder Woman since I was a girl, so a tiny girl. And I think that Gal just does such an amazing job at it. Oh, my cat's here.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, she is definitely my favorite member of the Justice League. But then, you know, there's a lot more to come. There's a lot more members to come. So
yeah. But she's my favorite too. Oh, hi, honey.
This is Tiger.
Hi, Tiger. How did you discover yourself as an actress?
My parents ran an arts organization, a Renaissance music and dance organization. So they would give concerts of Renaissance music, 15th and 16th century music, and 15th and 16th century dances. And I joined the dance group when I was 9. And from then, I pretty much knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a dancer first, but I don't have the right kind of body for it, and I have lots of issues with knees and my spine and things like that. But I always, I've never thought of doing anything else but be a performer. So here I am.
And yet, what advice would you give to someone who's interested in acting?
Work as much as you can, even if it's, you know, if you don't think it's real work, still experience is the best training, I think. Definitely go to class, definitely get training, but experience is the best training. And also, if you can do anything else, if you could be happy doing anything else, maybe do that, because it's so hard. It is so hard. It's not like a coal miner hard, but it, you know, it's not like being a construction worker, but it's very wearing. It can really wear you down, and you have to be really strong emotionally. What I try to do when I do auditions or send off my pictures and resume is I try to put it down like a black hole so that I don't think about it at all. And then if it comes back, that's great. But I just try and forget about it once I've done it. That's the only advice I have, really. Be true to yourself. It's like Polonius says in Hamlet, to thine own self be true. Because people want to see real people.
Yeah. But yeah, as much as we watch it and the Justice League, you've done great. It is just a powerful scene. It's amazing. No, thank you for doing it. We've been able to watch it. It's really good.
I'm so glad I've been able to be part of it. So
again, thank you so much for being here.
I'm sorry that there were so many little glitches, but don't worry. It was all fine from my point of view.
Okay. I'm so sorry. Yeah, this is Brazil. In Brazil, we have
this is Rio de Janeiro.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I've never been, but God, you've had the World Cup and the Olympics. Wow.
Yeah. We are a little bit affectionate for football. We call it football. We don't call it soccer, please. It's football.
Yeah.
Here.
Come on. You have the best players in the world.
Oh yeah, again, thank you so much.
No worries.
Manda beijo.
Oh yeah, they are. We don't have. They don't have this. Yeah, here in Brazil, when we are saying goodbye to the people, we go like, hi, bye bye, kisses. So they are sending you lots of kisses. Yeah.
So,
Ciao. Ciao.
Obrigado. So thank you so much. It's been very much fun, and I hopefully see you at Anfield.
Oh, yeah. When I go, I will ask you to go with me.
Definitely.
I don't know when, maybe like in 10 years, but yeah.
Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
And thank you for having me.
And I think it's like almost 10 there, right?
Yeah, it's 9:30, 9:45.
So yeah, so good night, I guess.
Yes. I'm old, so I'm gonna go to bed.
Oh yeah, it's common here. We say like good night, bye bye.
How do you say in Portuguese?
Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Okay.
Okay, bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye. Oh, I like it so much. I enjoyed.